Brazil, just like Indonesia, they are both countries with very rich biodiversity and wildlife. How do you think the two could contribute towards discussion on preservation and on the better use of the environment? What do you think should be the role of our two countries, considering our richness in this wildlife and biodiversity?
I fully agree with you that Brazil and Indonesia could play an important role in promoting environmental issues, particularly to enhance the awareness of the environment. And I think, as far as I know, that Brazil and Indonesia have always worked together to come up with some position on the issues of common interest, particularly in environmental issues. So I think we should continue to work together to protect and promote the environment. Yeah.
Most of Brazilian tourists that go every year to Indonesia, they go to Bali, right? It's the main popular destination for Brazilians in Indonesia, and most of them are young and surfers. Yeah. But Indonesia is a very rich country with lots of beautiful things to be seen and known beside its beaches. What would you tell to Brazilian people, to Brazilian audiences about your country, and why should they visit it?
Okay. Actually, beside Bali, there are many places in Indonesia that's much more beautiful than Bali, particularly for surfer. There is a best place in the world for surfer, namely Mentawai. It's in West Sumatra, and now Brazilian who are already knows Mentawai or West Sumatra, they normally go to that area, not to Bali. They spend more than 1 month in Mentawai just to do surfing. And the government do realize that Bali is not the only best destination. Now the government has developed what we call it new 10 Balis. There are 10 places that more beautiful than Bali, and we are now promoting, and we will introduce in this meeting to all our audience here that there will be another 10 Balis that you need to visit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, people aren't aware of the number of languages spoken in Indonesia and the number of islands that are there. Can you tell us about a little bit about it also?
Islands, we have more than 17,000 islands, but some are small islands and not inhabited. But with regard to ethnics, we have more than 700 ethnics, right, with 300 different languages. 300. It's not because of the, what we call it, it's totally different language. So, like for instance, I'm Sundanese. I cannot communicate with Batak or with the Javanese in their local language.
Right, they're completely different.
Completely different. So it's not because of the I don't know how to say apa ya namanya. It's not because of dialect, but okay, the language is totally different. So luckily we have one national language, Indonesian language, so we can communicate. But if we use local language, we will not be able to communicate.
Right, that's very interesting also.
Very interesting. You should visit Indonesia, you can feel it, the difference.
Yes. And I also read something that was very interesting, that the majority of Indonesian diplomats are women, nearly 60%, and I was glad to hear that.
How can you now? Yes.
I read about it, and I want to know, how do you think this majority of women in diplomacy, in Indonesian diplomacy, contribute to diplomatic relations among Indonesia and other countries?
Yeah, we are so happy, we are so proud, because if you realize that we had one of the president is also a woman, Ibu Megawati. Now we have Minister for Finance is also a woman. Minister for Social and Culture, also woman. I think there are 8 women now in the cabinets of President Joko Widodo. And when come to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because we do have merit system, So whoever who has a good score, then they may be elected. So I'm so proud that there are now more women than men, but because in reality, normally women are more diligent than men. So I think it will be a good sign for us. So hopefully that in the future, the Indonesian diplomats can do better than previous one.